Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hills and Hollers Homestead. I'm Mike, and today I'm just going to touch on a couple little things. I was reading this morning; they were talking about, and this completely comes across as odd to me. China urging its citizens to stock up on essentials and stock up on food for the winter. As they're expecting, they didn't say what they're expecting, but there's a lot of speculation that they're doing it because of potential supply chain shortages and everything like that. Anticipation of a longer, colder winter than usual. Of course, China. Now, what strikes odd to me is China being like one of the biggest human rights violators on the planet, having concern for their citizens, and so I'm not downplaying that in any way whatsoever, and I'm not saying that it's probably just propaganda, but in a communist country, kind of urges its people to start stocking up and getting essential stores and more essentials for winter and stuff like that, or they're using winter as the excuse, but we'll see. So, anyways, that just kind of prompted me to come back on here and double down again on folks to get your food stores put away. An easy way to do that, and I understand, believe me, wholeheartedly when I tell you I understand, money's tight and things are, hard on people in place of since we are in a pandemic and inflation continues to rise. And, but all I'm going to tell you is now, if you haven't started putting food stores away, I don't want you to panic. I do not want you to panic buy. I want you to go to the store and, like I said, and again, 3 days worth. Start off with 3 days worth and do that. And then 3 days again, and then 3 days again, and then 3 days again. So when you go to the store, when you go buy your product, pick up a jar of peanut butter, buy 2 jars of peanut butter, buy a box of pasta, get you 2 boxes of pasta, get just simple things like that. Something that's going to stay good for a while. Peanut butter's got a good shelf life without being refrigerated. Pasta's got a good shelf life, and like I said, like those ragu jars I showed you guys on the one video of the pantry tour, I think I'm going to use those for my pasta stores because pasta, even though it's a dry good, it's not going to stay forever in its little cardboard box. So I'm going to use those for pasta storage. And even though it's not a typical food that I eat, with the way of eating that I follow, it is something that in a have-to situation that, well, of course my kids will eat, but in a have-to situation, it is a source of calories for me, and I will eat them at that point. But like I said, the supplies, the shelves were good this past weekend. That was here. It may be completely different where you live, and I've actually seen less supplies and more empty shelves previously than I did this weekend. So I don't know if that means. I don't think that's a good sign, to be honest with you, because I don't expect that to stay. I think more people are still, stockpiling stuff and putting stuff away. I think a lot of people are doing it wrong. Of course, I could be wrong on that, but I think it needs to be done nonetheless. And if there's 4 jars of peanut butter on the shelf when you go buy your peanut butter, take 2, leave 2. Don't take all 4 of them. Think about the next person, because we have to consider ourselves and our families, but we also need to consider our neighbors as well. Because if the situation ever occurs to where there are food shortages, or even the economy just goes completely to crap and people can't afford food and stuff like that, your neighbors are going to come to you. They're going to go to everybody in the neighborhood. They're going to be looking for help, and as humans, we should be helping each other. We absolutely truly should. The danger to that is there are people out there who will take. They won't ask. They'll take, and they'll take by force, by violence, and everything like that, for themselves, and in a very greedy manner. All you gotta do is look at the excuses that people use when there's a perceived sense of injustice, that they go out and they rob and loot. I don't know what breaking into an athletic store and stealing shoes is going to show. We'll not get into that, but I'm just saying, people are opportunistic and they will take advantage of it. There are predators out there. There are people who are predators, and their predatory instincts don't distinguish between people and objects. What they feel is something that's valuable to them. So, again, and I've said previously, people are always, regardless of the situation that we're in, to where we're having to rely on our preps, our stores, and our skills, and whatever plans we have in place. Whatever happens, people are going to be our biggest danger. They're going to be our biggest threat. So, on top of food stores, you got to protect your home. And, whatever side of the fence you come from, I don't care. You're not going to talk somebody down. I don't care what your background is. In a situation like that, you could be the best mental health provider on the planet. And, if I got predatory instincts and I'm desperate and I'm starving or my family's starving or something like that, and I know you got food or you could potentially have food or something in your home that I want, you're not going to reach out and be my buddy. And I would hate to think that I would have to be something like that. But I'm just saying that there are people like that out there. And that's something to really keep in the forefront of your mind. So, you need to protect your home. You need to protect yourself and your family, and by any means necessary. And I wouldn't rely on a baseball bat. I wouldn't rely on sharp, pointy things as my main source. So essentially, I'm just going to clue you in, and I'm going to say, get a gun. If you don't have a gun, you should buy a gun. Shotguns are the easiest thing to learn how to use because you have to have a basic understanding and you have to understand firearm safety. But for home defense, a shotgun is your best bet. So if you know how to use one and you don't have one, go get you one. If you don't know how to use one, go get one and have somebody teach you how to use one properly and safely. And teach your family how to use one properly and safely. And like I said, you don't need to wait till Christmas time to buy it as a gift. You don't need to wait till, I'll wait till my kid's birthday. Really, honestly, shotgun ammo is not something that's hard to find right now. There seems to be a surplus of shotgun ammo. It's the other ammo that we have a shortage of for some reason. But get yourselves armed, get yourselves protected. And like I said, if you have to, you have to. If it would come down to protecting my family, man, there's no question about it. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, but I'm just going to tell you that there's consequences to your actions. So basically, before you think about it, before you come in, you better stop and get right with Jesus because you're going to meet him. Because I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to warn you. You put my family in danger. You put me in danger, especially in a situation like that where we're facing that kind of stuff together. Sucks to be you. Not something to laugh about, but you kind of have to put yourself in that position. And if you ever wonder if you could do something like that, I would hate to say that if your children or your wife or your loved ones are being threatened, there shouldn't be a question. But anyways, we're going to get away from that. I've said it. You understand where I'm coming from. You understand my stance there. Okay, period. That's the end of statement. But seeing like I said, communist China pressing the issue of encouraging their citizens to stockpile for the winter, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't started yet, you really should. Don't depend on the government. They're not going to come and rescue you in the time frame that you think they're going to. Store your food, stockpile. Don't stockpile greedily. Stockpile reasonably, and store your food reasonably. And we've got like 28. Well, we actually, one of the jars busted, so we just pressure canned 28 jars of homemade beef stew. One of the jars busted, so we got 27. But there's still more that we're going to do. And like I said yesterday, in the case where if electric was to completely go out and our standby generator failed on natural gas, if it went out and then I used up all the gas in my gasoline generator, what could I do with all my frozen stuff? And that would be the meat and stuff that I do have. Unrealistically, building a cold smoker out here and trying to get everything smoked before it rots isn't going to happen. What we can do is we can pressure can it. And I can pressure can steak. You give me a ribeye steak, I'll pressure can ribeye steak. It's fine. You can pressure can ground beef, you can pressure ground turkey. If it's meat, you can pressure can it pretty much, okay? And those are ways to preserve food without the need for refrigeration. So, in a have-to situation, we'll get her done. But again, I don't want to wait. I don't want to see people wait until something bad happens. And that regret of getting there and seeing that what you need is not there. Start doing it now, folks. Don't do it. And like I said, don't panic. Have a plan. And that way, when it does occur, you can act on your existing plans, and that is you've got your food stores. So you've got food, you got clean water, you got shelter, you have security, you have your family. Those are the most important things right there: shelter, food, water, family, safety, period. And not in that specific order, okay? But again, I can't encourage it enough. Get out there, get your preps, get your non-perishables, get your dry goods, get your canned meats, home can if you can, if you know how to do it. Don't panic, and don't try to just do it all at once. But you need to do it. You need to do it. And you need to be prudent about doing it. And yeah, it's 45 degrees here today, and we got freeze warnings out for tonight. So winter's here, whether we like it or not. Winter's here, and the real possibility of weather-related events are now here. They're always here, but typically with season changes and stuff like that, we have more in certain seasons than we do in others. So again, get your butt to the store. Start buying your preps. Don't panic buy 3 days at a time. Don't buy one, buy two. Put it away. Okay, that's just the encouragement I can give you right now. Like I said, and think about your neighbors, but even if they're your best friends, have a plan. Have a plan together. Gather food together. Store together. You know what I mean? Or store separately in each person's home. That way you're not, at a situation where your neighbor comes over and they're completely not prepared. They're your best friend. You're not going to turn them away. Now both your families are going to suffer in the short term because you don't have enough food to provide for both of them. Make a plan with your neighbors who are good friends, and if they're not willing or interested, they're going to come knocking on your door. So be reasonable. Talk to folks, people you trust, people in your community. But again, I want you to think about that, is that people who you trust and people who if they're not prepared and they start to suffer, or their family starts to suffer, you may be in a situation where you have to turn your best friend or people that you trust to know away, and they're probably not going to take kindly to that if they know or suspect that you have food and goods in your home that's going to help them and their family survive. So, not trying to create distrust, not trying to create any kind of animosity or anything like that. I'm just telling you, this is how things are going to go. And stock up, keep your mouth shut about your stores. Don't, but just talk to your neighbor. If you have a couple good friends, say, hey, what do you guys think about putting food away for something? How do you guys feel about that? Do you do that? Is that something? What do you think? You think we should do that? Do you think that's something that we could all work on together? And you're probably going to get a more reasonable and a rational response out of that, rather than going, hey, I'm going to be a prepper. You want to join me? Because they've turned prepper into like a tinfoil hat wearing individual, where truly we're not. But anyways, folks, again, and I'm just going to reiterate one more time: if you haven't started, you need to start. If you started, you need to double down. Again, don't panic. Do it reasonably, rationally, and with a plan. All right, hit that like and subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, hit that little bell icon so you get notified when new videos come out. We're going to look at a couple things here this week and see what else we can double down or even triple down on. So more information to come, guys. Hang in there. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're doing. I love to hear when people tell me that they're prepping. And I love to hear people say that they're doing it because of what I'm sharing with you guys. Because that's what we want to do. We want to help people. We want to help spread that information and get that out there. So God bless you all. See you on the next video.